In the symphony of the Catholic Church, certain voices rise above the rest, carrying messages of hope, love, and unwavering faith. One such voice is that of Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, a leader whose words resonate deeply in these uncertain times. His messages are not just meant to inspire, they serve as a call to action for all believers. Today, we will explore his most powerful words that challenge us to embody compassion, humility, faith, social justice, and unity. Our world is filled with division, indifference, and barriers between individuals, communities, and nations. Yet amidst this often cold reality, Cardinal Tagle speaks of compassion in a way that is both prophetic and deeply moving. He reminds us that at the heart of Christianity lies compassion, not just as a feeling, but as a radical act of love. True. Compassion is not a distant act of charity. It is about entering into the suffering of others just as Christ did. The Good Samaritan did not just offer money and walk away. He cared for the wounded man as if he were his own brother. This is the kind of empathy that Cardinal Tagle calls us to embody. We are reminded that the suffering of one is the suffering of all, and to encounter the poor, the marginalized, and the outcast is to receive a gift, the opportunity to see Christ in those who suffer. Compassion demands more than sentimentality or superficial gestures. Cardinal Tagle challenges us to open our hearts and minds to the suffering of others, to become the hands of Christ reaching out to heal a broken world. If we take this message to heart, we can transform not only our own lives but also the lives of those around us. In an age where self-promotion and the pursuit of status are celebrated, humility often feels like a forgotten virtue. But Cardinal Tagle reminds us that humility is not about thinking less of ourselves, it is about thinking of ourselves less. True humility is the strength to step aside and let others shine. It is the courage to admit mistakes, to learn from them, and to recognize our dependence on God and one another. When the angel Gabriel announced to Mary that she would bear the Son of God, she did not boast. She humbly accepted God's will, saying, "Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord. Let it be done to me according to your word." Cardinal Tagle teaches that humility is not weakness. Rather, it is a quiet strength that allows us to surrender our ego and trust in God's plan. In a world obsessed with power and recognition, embracing humility is a radical act. It is through humility that we discover true greatness, the greatness of serving others and glorifying God. We live in a world filled with skepticism, uncertainty, and cynicism. Yet Cardinal Tagle stands firm in his faith, demonstrating a trust in God that is both deeply personal and incredibly contagious. Faith, he teaches, is not simply about agreeing with a set of doctrines. It is a lived reality, a deep and abiding trust in the goodness of God, even in the face of suffering, doubt, and despair. It is about clinging to hope when everything seems lost, just like the woman who touched the hem of Jesus' garment, believing in his power to heal. Cardinal Tagle reminds us that faith is not about having all the answers, but about trusting God even when the path is unclear. Doubt is not the enemy of faith. In fact, when honestly confronted, doubt can deepen our relationship with God. He encourages us to engage in honest dialogue with God, to bring our struggles before Him, and to trust that He is working in ways beyond our understanding. The gospel message is not meant to be confined to the walls of our churches. It is a call to action. Cardinal Tagle, a tireless advocate for the poor and marginalized, reminds us that social justice is not an optional part of Christianity. It is central to our faith. Social justice means recognizing the inherent dignity of every human being, regardless of race, religion, gender, or social status. It means standing up for the oppressed, speaking out against injustice, and working tirelessly to create a more just and equitable world. The prophets of old challenged the powerful and defended the weak. This is the legacy that Cardinal Tagle carries forward. He calls us to be agents of change, repairers of the breach, and builders of a world where justice prevails. This is not about charity alone. It is about justice. It is about ensuring that every person has access to basic necessities such as food, shelter, healthcare, and education. Cardinal Tagle's message is a clarion call to action. He reminds us that we are all interconnected and that we must use our voices and resources to uplift the most vulnerable members of our society. In a world increasingly fractured by division and polarization, Cardinal Tagle emerges as a powerful advocate for unity. He believes that our diversity is not a source of division but a reflection of God's boundless creativity. True unity is not about erasing our differences. It is about recognizing our shared humanity and building bridges of understanding and empathy. The early church was composed of people from diverse backgrounds, yet they were united in their love for Christ. This is the kind of unity that Cardinal Tagle calls us to embrace, one that transcends differences and binds us together in love. Our unity is rooted in our shared identity as children of God. Regardless of race, religion, or background, we are all brothers and sisters. Cardinal Tagle's message of unity reminds us that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. He challenges us to listen with open hearts and minds, to respect one another even in disagreement, and to seek common ground. Cardinal Tagle's words are not just for today. They are a timeless call to live out our faith with courage, love, and compassion. His teachings inspire us to be better, to love more deeply, and to serve with humility. As we reflect on his powerful message, we must ask ourselves, how can we incorporate these lessons into our own lives? How can we be more compassionate, humble, faithful, just, and united? The answer lies not just in words, but in action. May we take Cardinal Tagle's words to heart and strive to live lives that reflect the love of Christ. Let us be the hands and feet of Jesus in a world that so desperately needs his light.